Alright guys, out here rigging up my blue southern crappie rods to go fishing in the morning. Figured we were talking about my top baits for the summertime. We're not just talking about live scoping baits. We're talking about long lining, trolling, tight lining, live scoping, you name it. These are my best 5 baits for the summertime that I could come up with to show you guys to help you catch more and bigger crappie. We're going to start with our trolling baits. It's summertime, fish are more active. See, on my last video I was talking about bigger baits. In the summertime, really any time, I used to love to troll. And summertime was the time where I broke out the crankbaits. These are some of my better colors here, if you can see those. I painted those up myself. Now you got your bandits, you got your deep rebel WERs, Berkeley frenzies, they're really well. The flicker shad, all those baits work really well. But if you're trolling around a lot of stumps and wood and getting hung it up, one of the better places to get your baits is a place called W Lure. You can go on there. They're knockoff baits that you don't normally find elsewhere, but that's where these come from. And I bought the blanks and painted them myself. You do have to tune them a little bit, but they work really well once you get them set up. You can put your own size treble hooks on there as well. I like a little bit bigger hook. I think it gives a little bit better bite. But you can check them out, W Lure. I'm not sponsored or anything by them. It's just a good, tip for you. They sell painted versions as well. I think there used to be like $1.99 or something. You get the blanks for less than $1 and do it yourself. That's a nice little craft project during the summer, and also it's a good way to get a bunch of cheap cranks, and they work really well. My second item that I like to troll with, these, I'm not sure if they still make these or not. Kalin's used to make it. It is called a Kalin Slim. It's a 3-inch curly tail grub in one of my favorite colors of all time. That's black, blue, and chartreuse. And we would usually use a pink head on this. Anytime I had a tail color of chartreuse, I would alternate it with a pink head. It would, whatever my tail color, no matter what I'm doing, I try to have the head opposite. Some people like to match it. I'm not. I like to have as many different colors down there as I can. Hopefully they'll like one of them when you haven't really dialed them in. But that bait has been really good to us. Acid rain, John Deere green, Tennessee shad, just depending on your watercolor. Fantastic baits. It's a little bit bigger bait. It's got a bigger tail to it, gives off a lot of vibration. We have done really, really well on those baits throughout the years long line trolling. Next up is a bait you probably very few of you have seen, and I'm telling you what, for tight lining and long lining, it cannot be beat. I mean that. And that is a spinny mini. That's 2 different colors. You can buy these as well, painted, or you can buy the blanks and paint them yourself. And these are some custom colors I've done myself. Well, it's amazing what you can do with a old rattle can of spray paint and a little clear coat. But the spinny mini there is probably, man, locally that's it right there. Long line trolling as well as tight lining. So the trick to these are, obviously you got a blade back here. Now don't confuse these with the Roadrunner. It's a completely different bait than a Roadrunner. Has a little internal rattle in there. You have the blade back here, and you're like, oh well, it's a bait that pulls around with a blade flicker and no big deal. All right, the trick to these is you can either A, tip it with a minnow, or you can B, tip it with another soft plastic. And the whole trick of this bait is this blade, when it's trying to turn, it will hit that minnow or that soft plastic, and it will cause the bait to kick erratically as it comes through. You don't want this bait to be coming and that blade just spinning in a perfect spiral. You want that blade to be hitting that bait and causing it to kick erratically. I'm telling you, that has won us. We got a lot of plaques and trophies on the wall from that, and from those 2 combinations right there. That spinny mini and that 3-inch Kalin Slim is, if you'd like to troll and tight line, we do both of those baits right there that way. that is a killer right there. And if honestly, if live scoping hadn't come out and most of the folks is doing that, I wouldn't be telling you about that, because that's a secret right there now. And as far as the spinny mini, we talked about it in trolling, but don't overlook it in live scope applications. This bait has a very powerful draw. It catches fish. You ought to get you a couple and try them. I'm telling you, this is it's not a very well known bait at all, and it catches fish. You can check them out at southerncrappierods.com. Ed sells those, the blanks and the painted ones. But that's a fantastic bait. I've got a whole box of them here. They work, trust me on that. Then we're going moving right along. You got your hair jigs. Everybody knows, you know, that it's no secret here. You got a lot of shapes, sizes, colors. You got some 1/16 ounce down to an 1/80th, all the way up to a 1/4. Your color really depends on watercolor and the amount of light, time of day. If sun's high, if it's cloudy, obviously, you know, darker days use darker colors, brighter days use lighter colors. But, you know, you got to experiment and let the fish tell you. That is one thing I did really used to love about long line trolling, which is probably my favorite way to fish. Is, well, it used to be, is, you know, you can throw a bunch of rods out the back, mix them up, and let the fish tell you. You know, when you're long lining, you're having to attract the fish to your bait, and all those, there's a little more nuances in it, I think, that come into play. You know, color, size, and action. Now with live scope, you know, you can put it right on the fish and eliminate some of those. But with my hair jigs, you know, that's one of the preferred baits for live scoping all across the country. It's no secret. You have a lot of different materials. You know, these are marabou right here. You got a gray chenille. Your very basic is just like a gray ghost color. Hard to go wrong with those. Marabou's usually has a little bit better action. It flows in the water, moving all the way up to, you know, bucktail that's stiffer, but it is more buoyant, and it disturbs, it displaces more water where they can find it better in dirty water. All right, but for my very best, number one, and I know y'all gonna think I'm a little biased, but guys, I'm telling you, man, they just freaking work. I can't explain it any better than that. And that's my Hawinator that I came out with last year. I told you in my last video I was gonna show you one of my colors, but that one right there, I don't know if you can quite see that, but that's the Hawinator, and that's in one of my favorite colors. That's a black, blue, and chartreuse. No, it doesn't have a chartreuse tail. It's got a lot of chartreuse flake in there. I'm not quite sure if y'all can see that or not. It's black with a blue sheen with a chartreuse flake in there. That has been really, really good to me right there. I want to tell you one little trick with the Hawinator. Is that coming up, everybody would talk about, you know, you got to hide your hook, hide your hook. You can tell this is a 1/16 with a number 4 on there, and that really blends together really well. It's smooth. You don't have a giant hook sticking up there. Also, I fish these on a plain shank hook. You can see that this is a plain shank. You just slide it up there. After a few fish, if it gets kind of torn or wear, a dropper super glue is a nice little trick too to hold that on there. But after a few fish, it gets torn and wear, and you have trouble with that bait twisting. You can take one of those little ridges and pinch it up on the top of the hook, just like so, and it'll keep it straight up. Another way to fish it is to take it and rig it perfectly flat, like so. That's a little bit crooked, but you get the idea. So it's flat, and this gives a nice little dying shad fall. Some days they like it straight up, some days they like it laying flat. That's something to play with there. One nice thing about these baits is when they're upright, you catch several fish and you tear it up, You just flip it back around. You got a whole nother side to rig up that'll last a little longer. Going back to our crankbaits, we're talking about the different sizes. A lot of your factory crankbaits come, and they come with smaller hooks. If you'll upgrade those hooks up a size, I think a lot of your bandits and stuff, they come with like a 6 on there. You don't want to get too big because your treble hooks will tangle up together. Say you go from a regular 6, say a short shank 5. That's a really good upgrade. It'll give you a little bit more bite to catch them fish. And when I'm trolling my cranks, I always put, as you can see on this one right here, I think I got a little piece of line on there, but I'll put a barrel swivel in front of there. If you don't have that thing tuned so it's running just 100% straight, or even sometimes when you make a turn, it'll cause that thing to roll, and you can mess up a whole spool of line really fast trolling up crankbait that's not running true. But this is pretty much my rundown. I'm gonna head to the lake in the morning, go catch a few, and I'm not gonna be trolling. I'm going to be live scoping, so I'm going to be using a selection of Hawinators and my hand-tied hair jigs, and we're going to see if we can trick a few. You know, in the summertime, one of the biggest things is, you know, trying out your different sizes, and that's why we offer 2 sizes in the Hawinator, and there's a wide variety in the hand-tied hair jigs. You can go from, you know, pretty much sky's the limit there. Guys, if you will, leave us a comment down there. What is your favorite summertime bait, and what is your preferred way of fishing? But I hope you enjoyed the video. The next one that's coming out, we're going to be talking about our brakes and things that we've done to improve them and tweak them since the beginning of putting them on. And we will see y'all on the next one.